Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Josh Vogt, publisher of Personal Fitness Professional, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. In just a few minutes, our presenter today, Dolly Stokes, will bring you a webinar session titled The Path to Success, Believe, Adapt, Achieve. Today's webinar was made possible by a longtime partner, FitTour. FitTour is a great resource to get the latest certifications and to stay on top of your CECs via their online courses. Before we begin, I'd like to just cover a couple of housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded and will be shared with all of you once the replay link is available, which should be within 24 hours. If there are any technical difficulties today, please let us know using the chat button in the navigation bar at the bottom of your screen. And we'd like to encourage any questions throughout today's webinar. We are going to open this up to Q&A, so if you could submit those in the Q&A button also at the bottom of your screen in the navigation bar. And then we, at the end, we will spend 10 to 15 minutes of live Q&A. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our presenter today, Dolly Stokes. Dolly is a powerhouse of information and enthusiasm. She is a leader in the fitness education and instruction. Drawing on more than 30 years of fitness industry experience, Dolly has written and presented many of FitTour's top-selling education resources. She packs dynamic energy and science-based research in every course she writes, and her certification workshops and DVDs combine solid education infused with positive energy to create a top-notch learning experience. Fitness professionals across the U.S. have trained using courses created and presented by Dolly to expand their education, ranging from boot camp, indoor cycling, aquatic fitness, Pilates, reformer, kickboxing, core and functional fitness, and many more. So without further ado, Dolly, take it away.
Okay, well, thank you, Josh and PFP and FitTour for allowing me to present today. And also a big thank you to our audience for taking time out of your busy day to join us. So during our time together, I'm going to share some of my experiences and some of the things that have helped shape my success throughout my fitness career. So we'll explore some strategies that I have used to successfully adapt to any circumstance, to meet change head on, and to achieve success no matter what circumstances life throws at me. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the path to success: believe, adapt, achieve. So we all have stories of challenge and we all have hardships. Each one of us has our own stories and our own life challenges. And I've been through many, many challenges and struggles, and the same challenges and struggles that you've been through, such as the loss of a family member, maybe some kind of disaster. And we all have within us what I call can-do-it-ivity. Can you say that? Can-do-it-ivity. And then if you can say it, can you spell it? So if you're not sure how to spell it, just look at the screen and it's can-do-it-ivity. You're not going to find that one in the dictionary. It's in the Dolly dictionary. But that is something that I pull on, and I always look to is my can-do-it-ivity. I know that I can do it. Sometimes things are challenging, yet even though there's a challenge, it's always doable, always able to get through that challenge. And then also positivity. So that goes along with your can-do-it-ivity, that being positive, making it through to the other side, using your thought patterns and the way you approach a circumstance to bring about positive change. So sometimes I'm able to make it through my struggles and challenges with grace, and sometimes I just muddle through. And you're probably the same, but as I have gotten a little more mature and more experience, it's a little easier for me personally. I feel like I make it through the challenges with a lot more grace and a lot more smoothly than I did when I was younger. So I'll tell you, my greatest challenge in life so far was being diagnosed with MS in 2011. Now, MS, if you're not sure or you're not familiar with what MS is, because when I was first diagnosed, I kind of had an idea of what it was, but I didn't really know what it was. So I had to go look it up after the doctor told me that I had MS. But MS is a disease of the central nervous system in which the immune system eats away the protective covering of the nerves. And it can be present in the brain and the spine, or it can be present only in the brain or only in the spine. So my MS lesions are present in my brain, and present where my lesions are located affects my speech and my cognition and my mobility and my coordination. So I'm not going to talk a lot about my MS diagnosis, but just to let you know, that is the most challenging thing I've ever been through in my life. And it really helped me to come to grips with the fact that we are always going to have challenges and we're always going to have struggles. And it allowed me to see that there is always a silver lining, always a blessing to be found in the struggle. And so I know that when something bad happens in my life, I always know there's something good right around the corner. So that is a positive thing to think about. And that, goes right back to that positivity and can-do-ity that I would like for you to maybe start thinking about and embracing it if you are in a challenge right now, or you have a future challenge that you need to get through. Now, today we're going to talk mostly about the challenge that all of us are probably going through, and that's COVID-19. So I'm going to turn my video off so that you can just focus on the slides as I go through them, and I will see you soon at the end of the slideshow. Well, my clicker's not working. Hang on. Okay, so anybody that knows me will tell you that I'm a planner. So the first 2 weeks of the shutdown, I felt like I was just spinning my wheels. I tried doing virtual training initially through YouTube, Zoom, and Facebook Live, but I was trying to do it from my house, and we live in a rural area in South Alabama, and we didn't have access to high-speed internet. I'd always just used a mobile hotspot for my internet at home, and then I had internet at my office. But now that I was at my home trying to do virtual training, it just wasn't working. I did a Facebook Live and everybody just logged off because it was buffering so bad. So I just decided, after trying to do it 2 or 3 times, maybe 3 virtual training sessions, that I just needed to throw in the towel on that. And I had to jump through a lot of hoops to get our house connected to high-speed internet, but I was finally able to get us connected 3 weeks into the shutdown. Now, anybody knows that I'm a planner. So when a wrench is thrown in my plans, it can throw me for a loop. So I don't know if you're like I am, but some of us are planners, and if plans change without like previous notice, it can cause us to have stress. So over the years, one of the most important things that I've learned about managing myself during circumstances that I can't control is to stop, slow it down, take a deep breath, and say to myself, like, so these circumstances are out of your control and life isn't going the way you planned, but it's not going to do any good for you to waste your energy wringing your hands and feeling sorry for yourself, or being frustrated with someone else because the plans change, or whatever it is that happens with you when plans change and when your circumstances change. And then the second strategy is to, after you take a stop, slow down, look around, ask yourself, what do I have control over? What can I do with what I have control over? And how can I take this lemon and make some lemonade? So stop, look, and then after you stop, slow down, look around, see what your options are, then listen. And, I just have to tell myself, like, stop crying, girl, stop whining. I mean, really, is it the end of the world that things have changed? No, make the most of what you've got and figure it out. Take a few minutes. Sometimes it's hours, sometimes it's not minutes, sometimes it's days, sometimes it's even months that we just have to slow down and listen with clarity. Listen for opportunities and listen to your inner voice. So we're going to talk a little bit as we keep going on through the presentation about grabbing opportunities when they come available, and also listening to your inner voice, listening to your true self. So during the time that I was waiting, I had to wait about 3 weeks for our internet provider to get out to our house to get us connected to high-speed internet. So I wasn't able to do any training. I was able to do a little bit of virtual training with one of my clients that didn't mind the buffering, but that was just one private client. So instead of sitting around twiddling my thumbs, I got busy studying and maybe going through some courses that I had purchased and, increasing my education and increasing my knowledge. But during that same time, one of my friends who owns a fitness music company contacted me about an online store that had been designed specifically for fitness trainers and for fitness trainers to sell virtual training and on-demand videos. So the biggest draw was it was free for the first year. So I thought, well, what the heck? I might as well try it out. So I jumped on board and I started creating marketing material and putting together outlines for workouts and filming workouts. And by the time our high-speed internet was connected a week later, I was geared up and ready to go with virtual training. So one thing that is for sure that I've learned through the years is that success is often in the timing. So it actually worked out good for me that I didn't have high-speed internet available, because that time that I didn't have the internet available to do the virtual training, it allowed me the time to learn how to do virtual training, because I had a big learning curve as far as like the sound, the music, how to get it all where it sounded good in Zoom, and a lot of those different factors. So it allowed me to have time to explore that and learn how to work through that, because I'm in the generation that even though I'm slightly tech savvy, I'm not super tech savvy. So that was a timing thing that worked for me. So even though I wanted to push hard and make that virtual training happen, because I kept seeing like my competitors on here in this small town where I live, other fitness trainers were on Instagram and doing their live workouts, and on Facebook Live doing their workouts and inviting people to virtual workouts. And so I thought that I was going to be left behind and that all my clients were going to leave me because I wasn't available to them for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So the opportunity to provide those virtual workouts through an online portal, the platform, that really was a huge thing for me. So I might not have taken that opportunity to hook in with that platform if my high-speed internet had been working from the get-go. I might have missed that opportunity. And it was so easy to register people and also get paid, where a lot of my friends and some of my other contemporaries here in town were not able to really charge and make money for their virtual workouts. So my point is to tell you, I stopped, I looked, I listened, and I didn't push too hard, and I allowed the timing to take over. And it turned out to be, virtual training turned out to be a huge success for me during the interim period that I was, our studio was shut down. So that is just telling you, you know, about my challenges through COVID. And now I want you to think about, what is your COVID challenge? Now, you might have more than one COVID challenge, okay? You might have 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe 20 COVID challenges. But I want you to just, if you would, if you have a piece of paper and a pen handy, maybe just jot down what one of your COVID challenges was, or your greatest COVID challenge. And if you don't have a pen or a piece of paper, perhaps you have your phone or your tablet or your laptop, and you could just make a note of what is your greatest COVID challenge. And as we go through the slideshow, I invite you to relate back to that challenge and think about how you applied, or maybe could have applied, the concepts that we're discussing to that challenge. So I found that one of the most important things in running a successful business is to have a mission statement. And part of having a mission statement is having a clear vision of what you want to do and where you want to go. Okay, so your mission statement should be a reflection on who you are and how you think, or to put it another way, your philosophy and principles. My mission statement has always centered around providing safe, effective exercise to help others improve their health and their well-being, as well as provide fitness pros educational opportunities to learn and develop to provide their clients with the safest and most effective methods of exercise. So I've always worked towards that mission, even though my training styles have changed and the type of training I have done or I'm doing has changed from what I did, say, 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. So when I started off as a Group X instructor 30 years ago, and back then, y'all, it was called aerobics instructor, okay? It wasn't Group X, it was just called aerobics instructor. I started off as an aerobics instructor, and then after I was an aerobics instructor for about two years, I went through my personal trainer certification. And so I was working as an aerobics instructor and a personal trainer. Part-time, I was a paralegal full-time for 20 years before I started my own fitness consultation business, which was about 16 years ago. Now, about 10 years after I first became an aerobics instructor, I started to study yoga, Pilates, and that led me to go to massage therapy school to learn body work. So those are just what my philosophy and principles are. Is my training is always centered around improving body mechanics and body work, even though I do fitness type of training, and mostly now I do corrective exercise training and Pilates training and body work with my clients. So I don't do so much fitness. But my point in telling you my story as far as my professional career goes is that I've always stayed true to that mission of providing safe, effective exercise to my clients. I love this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson: "The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be." So I decided really pretty quick into my fitness career that I wanted to be a fitness educator. Within 2 years of me becoming an aerobics instructor, I was leading aerobics instructor training, teaching other people how to be aerobics instructors, mentoring other people. And then after I became a personal trainer, then I started mentoring people as personal trainers as well as aerobics instructors. So that was my mission. That was my vision, and that's what I've always stuck with. So if you're not clear on your mission, I invite you to just take some time and look at what your mission is. Think about what your mission is. And when you're looking at your mission, are your training methods and principles true to you, and do they meet your mission? So many of you, like me, had to change your game when COVID hit. So COVID, because I shut my studio down, my husband manages my studio, and then I'm at the studio most of the time doing most of the training. But my husband and I, had to shut the studio down, and we weren't sure where the business was going to go. So COVID changed our game. But going back to my mission and my vision over, say, the past 2 years has changed a little bit. And I really would like to be considered and thought of in our community when people need therapeutic exercise following, say, physical therapy, or if they're in chiropractic care and they need programming for to help them maintain and obtain and maintain a healthy spine. That's the trainer I would like to be rather than the fitness trainer. So COVID actually changed the game in my studio. So I'd been yearning to reinvent myself and to focus more on therapeutic and body work. And so when we reopened after being closed for 10 weeks, we offered only body work and reformer-based training, and we didn't offer fitness training. Now, we still do offer fitness training in a private setting, but not in a group setting. So COVID, the silver lining in COVID for me was that it actually gave me the opportunity to break out of that fitness trainer mold that I was boxed into, and I was able to follow my true passion as that of a therapeutic and restorative trainer. So I think I spoke a little bit earlier about opportunity. And so you always want to be ready if your game changes, whether it's because of COVID or some other circumstance. Be ready. When opportunity knocks, be ready. So that's how I became a FitTour Pro trainer, was I was ready. I wanted to be a master trainer for an education company, and I had applied with other education companies, but I had not been accepted by some other education companies. So my Group X coordinator at the facility where I was working in 2002 had a FitTour workshop scheduled. She couldn't be there, and she needed someone to step in and host the workshop for her. So meet the trainer, the pro trainer, and be the host for the pro trainer. So she asked me if I would. So I said, absolutely, yes, I'll do that. And because I was going to the workshop anyway. Well, that pro trainer was Carol Ann. And if you've gone through FitTour training, you know who Carol Ann is. Carol Ann has also written Education for FitTour and is in a lot of the FitTour videos, educational videos. So I met Carol Ann at that workshop that I might not have had the opportunity to interact with her on a one-on-one personal basis if I hadn't been asked to host the event for my Group X coordinator who couldn't be there. So that opportunity knocked, and Carol Ann said, would you be interested in being a FitTour Pro trainer? And I said, of course I would, yes. And so things just went from there. But that's just a story of opportunity. I was ready. The opportunity opened up, and I seized the opportunity. And then getting back to how COVID changed my name, my game, not my name, it changed my game. My name is Dolly, and it always has been Dolly. So COVID changed my game. During the 10 weeks the studio closed, COVID gave me the time that I needed to be quiet and reflect on where I wanted life to take me. So it gave me that time to stop, look, and listen. I personally needed that time away from my clients, because even though I told you that I wanted to break out of that fitness trainer mold, I was very kind of felt like I was stuck in that mold because I had so many clients that relied on me for their fitness. And I felt like I was going to let them down if I took that fitness segment of my training programming away. So that gave me time away from my clients, but it also gave my clients the time away from me that they needed to transition and change. And so they actually were able to see that they were able to work out on their own because of the things that I had taught them, because I had taught them how to work out on their own, how to exercise alone, how to be autonomous with their fitness programming rather than having to rely on me. And that was always my goal. That's always been my vision as well, in my mission statement, for people to empower people to be able to be healthy and fit on their own without the need of me. So that allowed me time away from my clients time away from me. And I will tell you, I was worried that I was going to lose clients. And I did lose a few clients, but I didn't lose as many as I anticipated. And another thing was that the vacant spaces were quickly filled by new clients who need the therapeutic services that we offer at our studio. So as I said earlier, and as I've said just a few minutes ago, making changes can be in the timing. And my advice to you is that a lot of the time you don't have to force a situation. Sometimes you can just sit back and things are going to fall right into place. Now, by saying sit back and let things fall into place, I don't mean to be complacent. I mean for you to be on the ready to grab opportunities when they come knocking, just as I did with virtual training, just as I did with Carol Ann when she was the Fit Tour presenter and was hiring and recruiting Fit Tour Pro trainers way back in 2002. I found my experience that if I try to force a situation, many times it's going to result in mistakes that I'm going to have to rectify in the future. So here's some food for thought for you. Are you boxed in? So I shared with you that I felt like I was boxed into being a fitness trainer, and I really felt like I was never going to break out of that box. So take a moment to think about, what is your focus? What is your focus for you? What are your needs? What is your focus for your clients? And what are your clients' needs? And I'd like for you to reflect on what drives you. What drives you? What is your passion? What are your interests? What's your inspiration? Are you feeding your passion? Are you feeding your interest? Are you studying to learn more about methods that inspire you? Or are you just going through the motions? When circumstances change and things are different, or things need to be changed, you feel a shift, you need to make sure that you recognize the need for change. So, COVID aside, sometimes there will be a shift in your clients or a shift in your environment that will throw up a red flag that change is needed. So you anticipate the change, accept the change is needed. So for instance, is the change due to you? Is your education up to date? Are you on top of what you need to be on top of? Are you giving your clients what they need and what they want? Is there a trend or direction in which you're drifting? Does the trend meet your mission? Does it excite you and ignite you? And does it inspire you? I will tell you from personal experience that if you follow a trend and you base your programming around that trend, but you're not excited about it. I know for me personally that I've done that in the past. And if I wasn't excited about the trend, but I was trying to fit my programming into that trend because I was worried that I was going to lose clients to another trainer that actually was doing that trend, that it actually backfired on me. Okay. So with your clients, you know, is there a need for change with your clients? COVID-19 has forced us to change. So we had to take steps to meet that change. But do your clients need change? What factors might have caused a change in their needs or their interest? Was it medical issue, aging, maturity, work, or family? And then another thing that you need to think about is, do your clients understand your mission? Okay. Are you a role model? Do you live, eat, breathe your mission? Are you inspiring your clients to embrace your mission? So when we talk about the changes that came along with COVID, and then we talk about changes that come along just because they're coming along, we just need to recognize, like, ask ourselves, is the change due to ourselves or is it due to our clients? When lockdowns are lifted, this is from a article that I read by Lucy Handley with CNBC back in the end of April. It was about the fitness profession and how the fitness industry and how large health clubs were going to be changed. The environment was going to be changed in health clubs due to all of the virtual training that's going on. So when the lockdowns were lifted, is what she said, some operators expect only 25 to 30% of people to go back to in-person classes, with the rest working out via online studios. So I will tell you, in my experience, this advice is not accurate. So don't believe everything you read, okay? For me, when we opened the studio back up, about 90% of my clients were eager and ready to get back to the studio for regular training. And like I said before, that 10% of spaces were very quickly filled by new clients, okay? So my advice to you is that when you're reading material, you know, take it for what it's worth, and then also, you know, apply it to what you're doing. But don't fall into the trap of saying, oh my gosh, I've got to do everything virtual because I'm not going to have any people in my classes anymore, because that might not actually be true. All right. So I talked a little bit about finding the silver lining and how I try to find the silver lining in all my circumstances. When we're no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So when you're discouraged, changing your mindset can be the key to making it through to the other side. Positivity, can-do-it-ivity go a long way. So while you may have to look hard, there's always, just know that there's always, always, always a silver lining that can be found, no matter what the circumstance. I have found that once I'm able to identify the silver lining, that if I place a greater focus on that silver lining than on the circumstance, that I will be less frustrated. I won't feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. I will feel more in control. And just know that while circumstances might be out of your control, like COVID, totally out of our control, here in our state, we still have the mask mandate, but we are able to have clients in our studios and in our gyms. Trainers have to, and staff have to wear masks, but our clients can take their mask off after they get into the studio. They're not required to wear a mask during their exercise session. So I don't know what is going on with you and where you are. It's different in every state. You know, that can be frustrating in itself. So try to not focus on the struggle, but focus on the positive. But when circumstances like that are out of your control, know that you have control over your thoughts and your attitude. And, you know, the attitude that you take towards the circumstance can go a long way in creating success as you go through the circumstance. So here we go. We've got our kids again with our stop, look, and listen. So we're going to look back at these 3 things that I talked about earlier that I always reflect upon when I'm met with an obstacle. So I talked a little bit earlier also about feeling a shift in your clients or a shift in your environment. So you can apply these strategies if you feel a shift or a swing in your client's interest or their needs. These 3 strategies will help you make changes before change is needed or before your programming dies. So strategy number 1, stop. Is there a need for change? Is the need for change because of you? Is the need for change because of your clients? Is the need for change because of your circumstances? And then what is the timeline for that change? Is the timeline immediate? Is it near future? Is it far future? So for us with our studio shut down, it was immediate. I went to the studio on Monday, March 16th and trained all of my regular clients and my regular Monday groups on that Monday. Monday evening, our state was shut down. So on Tuesday, I wasn't in the studio. So that was an immediate change. So I took the steps, but I tried to push too hard. I tried to have outdoor training. And so that evening I was texting all of my clients and messaging all my clients that we're going to meet in a park and do Pilates mat work at the park, bring your mat, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what happened? On Tuesday, it was raining, so we couldn't be outside. So, you know, that change was immediate, and I had to just kind of go with the flow and go along with the circumstances until I could get things worked out. So you might have felt that also, but also in your timeline, is it immediate? Is it near future? Is it far future? It could be something that's not even COVID related. It could be that you have, for instance, I had a group of women that came at 9:30 in the morning 15 years ago when I first started opened my own studio. So I had a group of women that came at 9:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays for Pilates mat work. Well, they had kids who were in preschool, and so preschool didn't start till 9:15, so 9:30 was a perfect time for them because they dropped their kids off at preschool and then they came straight to the studio. But the next year, those kids were going to be going into kindergarten, and kindergarten was going to start at 8 o'clock, not 9:15. So I looked at the timeline there and said, you know what, next fall when school starts, I need to have an 8:15 Pilates mat class for these women. And then so they moved into that, and then I got a whole nother group of preschool moms. So that's just an example of a timeline. Is it immediate? Is it in the near future? Or is it in the far future? And planning for that timeline and change. The next strategy is to look. So I invite you to research trends that interest, inspire, and ignite you. And again, coming back to that interest, inspire, and ignite you. If it doesn't interest and inspire you, if it doesn't create a sense of excitement, then it's probably not a good thing for you to do. The bottom line also, if you're running your own business, you need to look at the bottom line. Is it affordable? Am I going to have to spend money to make it happen? How much money am I going to have to spend? And there's a great article in PFP magazine, the fall edition, of getting out of debt. So you don't want to get in debt, especially with the uncertainty of when we're going to get back to normal. So I would encourage you to read that article, and I would encourage you to, really be deliberate about the money that you spend and the changes you make as far as buying new equipment and re-equipping your studio or your facility. Then strategy number 3 is listen. What are your clients saying? So it's a real good thing I found to poll my clients when I'm going to make changes. And there are online polls and surveys that you can set up so your clients can answer anonymously, because it's, for me, I just have found that it's better to have my clients answer anonymously, so that they don't have to maybe feel like they're going to hurt my feelings, or that someone else might not agree with what they're saying. Okay. And then while your clients' voices are important, the most important part of listening to yourself and when you're talking to yourself is to listen to your inner voice. What is your gut feeling? Are you experiencing a feeling of calm? Along with excitement, does the prospect of making a change make you feel satisfied? When I personally look back at times that I made changes to please a client, but I wasn't fully engaged and on board with the changes that I was making, my plans have fallen apart. It's kind of as if they were doomed from the very beginning. So a litmus test for me is, if I'm making a change, am I excited about this change? Am I going to be satisfied with the change? And am I calm about the change? If I'm feeling anxious and worried, then I know that's just a good signal, throwing up a red flag to me that this might not be what you need to do. Now, it might not be what I need to do right now. It might be what I need to do later on in the future, but just not at this moment of time. So if you have an idea that you want to change and you want to do some new programming or change your programming, if you're feeling, my advice to you is, if you're feeling excited and inspired but you're calm about the changes, then it's probably a good thing. If you're feeling excited and anxious and worried about the changes, then it's probably not a good thing. So that's just from a personal standpoint, and what has personally worked for me, and what I've found in my experience. Now, adapting your business to fit your circumstances. The most important thing is to remember that your health and well-being are top priority. So going back to me, like when I was first diagnosed with MS, I had to make changes to my training, the way I trained. I did a lot of boot camp training, and I actually physically went out and ran with my clients and did the workouts with them. And I had to change that because that was not good for me. It was making me sick, and it was negatively affecting my health and negatively affecting my relationships away from my business. So when you're making changes, you have to understand that you might lose some clients if you change, but not to take it personally if a client leaves you. So I have had clients leave me, and it's not because they don't like me. It's just because I'm not offering the training that they prefer, or they might feel like they're going to get better results with another trainer. And so I can't take it personally when they leave. It's just like if you change your hairdresser, she's not going to take it personally if you go to a different hairdresser because you don't feel like she's doing your hair the way you want it done, or coloring your hair the way you want it colored, or cutting it the way you want it cut. So, it's just something that you wouldn't take personally. If you are making adaptations to your business, again, I really encourage you to focus on your mission, focus on what inspires and ignites you, and provide balanced programming. Now, we don't have enough time today to go into what balanced programming is, but you just want to make sure that you're providing your clients with programming that encompasses the components of fitness and that will translate into their activities of daily living and also translate into their athletic or fitness performance. The most important thing for you to remember when you're making changes is for you to phase your changes. So don't just change immediately, unless it's something like COVID where I had to shut the studio down with like 12 hours notice. But if you allow your clients to transition with you, you don't give them any surprises, then it's going to be a smooth transition, okay? And you'll see this last bullet point says drown out the chatter. And by that, I mean avoid allowing one or two clients to deter you from making positive changes that reflect your mission statement and moves you closer to your mission. Because, you're going to have what's the saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So you're always going to have that one or two people that are like, I sure do wish you still did those HIIT workouts. I mean, I like your corrective exercise. It's really good. And I like doing those because my body feels so good after them. But I sure do miss doing going out and running wind sprints. And so, well, I know that you miss that. And so, you could probably do that with a different trainer because I'm not going to go out and run wind sprints anymore. And my clients don't, the majority of my clients don't need to run out and go out and run wind sprints because they're evolving with me. They're aging as I age because, like I said, most of my clients have been with me for 10 or 15 years, and they're either my age or maybe a few years younger or a few years older, but we've all evolved together. And so our bodies are changing. Everything's changing together. So that's another piece of advice that I would give you is to, evolve and allow your clients to evolve with you. And so, give yourself permission to change. I have a philosophy that in life, every 10 years we change, and it can be physically, it can be professionally, it can be our mindset can change. But if you look at what your body say you're in your 30s and you look back at what your body was like when you first hit your 20s, it's probably different 10 years later. And then when you look at your physical body and when you were in your 30s and look at it when you're in your 40s, it's probably totally different. And then from your 40s to your 50s, your body's probably different. I'm in my 50s, so I will tell you, yes, it's a lot different, like a whole lot different because of the hormonal changes that you go through when you hit your 50s. So, give yourself permission to change, not only physically, but also, mentally. Also, that your interests are going to change, that your priorities are going to change as you get older. For me, I haven't been a fitness trainer all my life, and also a presenter, a fitness programming presenter. There's always been a lot of focus on the physical, but as we get older, we learn that it really doesn't matter how much hard work you put in. You're not going to be, in your 50s nobody's going to really care what you look like in your bikini at the beach. It's going to be more about like, what kind of grandmother is she? Is she a good grandmother? Is she a good mother? Is she a good friend? You know, I mean, your priorities change as you get older. So just, that's the biggest thing that I encourage you to do is transition with your clients, transition with your age, and know that, change is inevitable. Change is always going to happen. And just know that, giving yourself permission to change, know that it's okay to make changes to your training methods, make changes to your techniques, change your philosophies or your principles. And this is especially true if through education and learning you feel or find that a different method or way of thinking is going to create positive effects on your health and well-being, and also the health and well-being of your clients. For me, that evolution, that avoiding stagnation is very, very important. And an important part of that is education. That is key to me. It's a key component in keeping up with the inevitable changes brought on by the inevitable evolution of life. Prepare for those inevitable changes. Stay fresh, stay engaged, continuously take in new information. I really invite you to branch out and explore new methods, even methods you think you would never embrace. Even methods you think you would never embrace. That is true for me with Pilates Reformer. About 20 years ago, I had a client just almost begged me to go through Pilates Reformer training and to get trained in the other apparatus because she wanted to open a Pilates studio and she wanted me to do that for her and run the studio for her. At that time, I just finished massage therapy school. I was in debt. I was just gone through a divorce. It just wasn't, the timing wasn't correct for it. And I didn't feel like it was a good fit for me. And I didn't ever think I was going to learn Pilates Reformer or offer Pilates Reformer. But here we are, 20 years later, and my studio is equipped with Pilates Reformers, and my clients love them, and I love them. And so my point in telling you is branch out, explore new methods, even methods you think you would never embrace, because you never know what life is going to push your way. Expand your repertoire, expand your experience. The more experience you have and better understanding in different modalities, the better you can guide your clients to finding what works best for their bodies. So load your toolbox. And if you have loaded with experience and education, you'll be prepared and you'll be equipped to meet challenges head on and change head on and push through to newer and brighter horizons. So as we start coming down and winding down to a close, just know that the possibilities are endless or limitless. If you believe in yourself, believe means to have confidence in the truth, the existence or the reliability of something, although without absolute proof that one is right in doing so. So only if one believes in something can one act purposefully. Anything's possible if you believe in yourself, if you have a plan, if you work hard, if you're consistent and never give up. And then the possibilities are endless if you adapt. Just know that change is inevitable and be willing to recognize change, that change needs to be made. Be willing to recognize that change needs to be made. Also, practice humility. Say, yes, change needs to be made. The change might need to be made with me. And open your mind to the possibilities of adaptations to your situation. I can't stress that enough, just to take the steps to make the necessary changes. And sometimes we need to start preparing for change before change is needed. The possibilities are limitless. And if you believe in yourself and take the steps to adapt or to change, success is always possible. Embrace and practice believing in yourself and your purpose. Embrace and practice adapting to your circumstances. So, the definition of achieve is to succeed in finishing something or reaching an aim, especially after a lot of work and effort. When you embrace and practice believing, adapting, and achievement will always be the end result. Through hard work, consistency, and perseverance, you can achieve anything. So before I turn it back over to Josh for Q&A, I want to close with these final thoughts. As fitness pros, we play a big role in the lives of our clients. Oftentimes, we're not even aware of the positive impact we have on their lives. We are not aware to how important we are to their health and well-being. We're often their frontline defense against disease and illness. I hope that you will be able to take some of the strategies and the concepts that we've talked about today and apply them when life throws you a curveball. When you believe in yourself, when you equip yourself with the tools that come from education and experience, when you take the steps to make adaptation, and when you meet change head on and achieve success, or you can achieve success no matter what life circumstances. Now go out there, take the world by storm by applying these 3 words: believe, adapt, achieve. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm going to pass it back to Josh for some Q&A.
All right. Thank you, Dolly, very much. A great presentation. Yeah, we have a few minutes here, so let's look at the questions here and just try to answer a few of these. Kind of going back to the beginning. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Perfect.
Okay.
What platform did you end up using for your virtual training, and why did you choose that one?
The platform I used was FitSwap. So it's FITSWOP. I decided to go with that platform because, like I said, it was free, and I had looked into another platform, which I don't remember the name of it, but it was going to be about $100 a month. And I was thinking, really, you know, I don't know about taking on the $100 a month, plus they wanted us to buy, you wanted you to buy equipment, and a lot of different things were part of that platform. So the FitSwap for me was a good choice, especially because they were running a promo, and it was free for my first year. So, and that was for the premium. And then I think after my first year, it's going to go to maybe, I can't even remember. I don't want to say what it is, but I think it's about $50 a month. So it just sounded affordable to me, and it looked really good. I explored it, and it was real easy. It was user friendly. So that was very important to me because I'm not tech savvy.
Okay, great. Along those lines, is FitSwap then the name of the website you used for creating your virtual training videos, or did you use someone else to create the videos?
No, FitSwap is what I used to create the videos. And then I also used Zoom. I used FitSwap for my group videos, and then I used Zoom for my private videos. And then I have a private videographer. I'm developing some on-demand videos, which are not on FitSwap yet, but I plan to offer those on FitSwap as well.
Great. Another one here. Did you need to get any additional training or certifications to make the switch to more of a therapeutic and rehabilitative trainer?
Yes, I did. So I think I mentioned that I went to massage therapy school. I did that in 2004 through 2006. So that was 750 hours of massage therapy school and a lot of anatomy in addition to massage techniques. And then beginning in 2015, I went through intensive training through Balanced Body, Reformers Level 1, 2, and 3. That involved, oh my gosh, I don't remember how many hours, but I think it ended up being like close to 1,000 hours. So I went through both of those. I had a Balanced Body mentor that is about an hour from me, and I apprenticed under her, and she was very strict about making sure that I turned my homework in. So I had a lot of work with that. And then FitTour allowed me to author the myofascial release primary and advanced courses. So I went through trigger point training, and I went through some foam roller training and myofascial release training with that as well. So yes, I did have to go through a lot of training to transition into that therapeutic. And also I've been through the ACSM Certified Inclusive Fitness Trainer certification as well.
Okay, wonderful. That's a lot of additional training. Well worth it. And then obviously with today's world, it seems a lot of people are interested, in staying at home and doing their training from home. Do you have any recommendations on how to approach pricing for that? And the other big concern is with the older adult population, staying safe, making, so they stay safe doing these exercises at home.
Yes. So, the pricing on FitSwap, it went from anywhere. So for me, I offered workouts for $10 a workout. And then they could get the recorded workout for $5 if they weren't able to come to the virtual. And then another national presenter, and I based my prices off of what another national presenter who was using FitSwap did. She also did the same, but she has on-demand videos also that are bundled for, say, $19.99 for 3 videos. And then as far as so it's a lot less than what you can charge in the studio. But, you have the convenience of working at home. And then I forgot to mention my private clients. So with my private clients doing Zoom training with my private clients, I normally charge $100 an hour for private sessions, but I charge $35 for Zoom sessions with them. As far as keeping our active older population safe, I have most of my clients, like I said, are a little bit younger than I am, or my age, or a little bit older. So I do have some ladies that work out with me that are in their 60s and 70s. And so a few of them have decided not to come, and they just use my YouTube videos that I have on my YouTube channel to work out with, because they don't feel comfortable coming into a studio. And then I have other clients that are in the high risk category that do come to the studio, but they wear a mask and use social distancing. So I hope that answered the question.
Perfect. For that. Yes, I believe so. And thank you for that. Another one here. What advice would you give a fitness instructor as how to decide what future education to pursue after completing their Group X / personal training certifications?
So, I would say I'll just tell you, like, from my standpoint, as far as my career. So I started off in Group X as an aerobics instructor, but Group X, and then I got my personal trainer. And then what was really popular then was STEP. So the next certification I went through was STEP certification. And I enjoyed all things Group X. So I ended up having, I think I have about 25 specialty certifications. But my advice to you is to go with what you love. So my first certification after Group X was STEP because I love STEP. Okay, I loved it. You know, I just lived it and breathed STEP. So that was my next certification. And then I think the next one that I went through was probably spinning because I loved indoor cycling. So I guess my advice to you would be with what do you love to do? When I went through yoga and Pilates about 10 years after I became a fitness trainer, I had started gearing myself towards that, but because I had a family member who had a lot of physical difficulties due to sports injuries. And so I was interested in maybe helping that family member heal and be able to move through the world and be able to do activities of daily living without pain.
Okay, great. Probably the last one here. I know we're a few minutes past the hour, but you mentioned, you know, when you make changes to your training regimen or your programming, you're going to lose people no matter what. But I guess, you know, what would be the timing around that? You know, should you give notice to clients, or should you just, you know, do it on your own for the sake that, hey, this is my career and this is how I want to do it?
No, I really think that you should be committed to your clients and loyal to your clients, especially if they're loyal to you and committed to you. So for me, I know that COVID allowed me to move into just strictly being therapeutic and corrective exercise. However, I was spoon feeding my clients that therapeutic corrective exercise. I've been spoon feeding that to them for about probably 5 years or even longer. And so for instance, 15 years ago when I first started my business, and it was basically boot camp centered in an effort to provide that balanced programming. I always had yoga as well. And I didn't make clients come to yoga, but I would try to encourage them to come to yoga, and so that they could feel the benefits of it. It's like a gradual thing. Like I said, it's an educating your clients on what your mission is and why you want them to come to yoga, for instance, that met the mission of, it wasn't Stokes Method then, it was Dolly B Fitness back then. That met the mission of Dolly B Fitness, and we called ourselves the Be Fit Girls, and that met the Be Fit Girls mission to come to yoga. So it encouraged them to participate in yoga. And over time, as they participated in a therapeutic movement type of exercise, they began to see the benefits of it. So I would never, I think it would be like maybe business suicide to just stop a program that is like very, that is thriving and that is, a good program as far as your clients like it. I would never do that. I would just gradually wean away from that program. COVID just gave me the opportunity to actually break out of that mold all the way. But without COVID, I would have done it over the next year anyway.
Okay, great. Thank you for that detailed answer. All right. I think that's a wrap for today. Dolly, thank you for a great presentation, and thank you everyone for joining the webinar today and for all your questions. We hope you learned a lot of valuable information that can help you with your training evolution. Believe, adapt, achieve. And thank you, FitTour, for making this webinar happen and for all your years of support with PFP. This webinar, again, was recorded, and the on-demand link will be emailed to all the registrants by around this time tomorrow. So thank you again, everyone. Stay safe and healthy and have a great rest of the day. Thanks, Dolly.
Thanks for being here. Thanks, Josh.